podcast, I spoke with my lovely wife, Jolly Ping, aka Zoe. We briefly spoke about how an individual can become more of a gentleman. Please enjoy whatever you listen to of this little chat between us. Bye. So the last podcast that we did together, we spoke of either romance or a gentleman or both. And you spoke of how does a gentleman become more romantic or create more romantic experiences for his love or more magical experiences for his love. Can you
explain more?
Yeah.
Okay, literally, first thing I want to say, gentleman doesn't mean that you speak gently or you're like just like behave like
feminine,
like family, not a gentleman. No, like it's respect.
So gentleman isn't feminine, soft.
It's to respect your loved ones. Towards the woman, and to think from her side, what does she need, and to make her feel loved. That's what is a gentleman for me.
So the more that a man can think of in his love's shoes and try to make his love feel as though they're being loved, that's trying to become more and more of a gentleman. And I think even if you have the intention to try to do that, you cannot expect that you're going to have success each time. I think you have to keep listening and learning, and maybe what worked before as making your love feel loved maybe won't work again later. So you have to be creative. You have to experiment. You have to invent. You have to
just keep learning.
Try new things.
Keep learning about your loved ones. Just like us, we live together, and then you can keep learning, and then you can always make like something different next time.
It's like making a piece of art or a song.
It's like,
right?
Also, you need to be creative.
You gotta be creative.
Especially if you're in a long-term relationship.
It's like each attempt to try to make your partner feel loved is like making a new song, a new poem, a new piece of art. It's like, otherwise it gets boring to hear the same old song. You have to keep it exciting.
Be creative. I think that's really, really important in a long-term relationship.
And I think to do that, you have to get outside of your comfort zone. Because if you just continue to do the same thing, that's what's comfortable. That's what you maybe even identify with. But you have to try to do what you're uncomfortable with and try new things. And sometimes that's exciting and that's surprising for you and your loved one. And that can make your whole relationship more interesting.
And I think sometimes it can be a little bit difficult because when we're in a relationship, we expect our lover or partner to be like, to love us like in an unconditional way.
Yes.
So come back to the topic of gentleman. Like, for example, me expecting you to love me in a way that like unconditionally. So how to do that from your perspective? It's quite difficult, but if you can try to reach that point, then I'm sure your loved ones can feel that, and that's really good for the relationship. But no one can be perfect like that as always. But
your goal.
You're
trying to move in that direction.
Think in that way and try to reach that point and try to make something creative and surprise. I'm sure the relationship can be
healthier, probably.
Healthier.
And more interesting.
Yes.
And more fun.
Yeah.
Because if your relationship isn't fun, if it's just getting more and more boring, it's the same thing every day, then you really, you got to make some changes.
Once in a while, you got to do something creative, interesting, like for both sides, where you both think is interesting. Yeah.
And don't hurt anyone or anything. Don't get too crazy, but get like a little bit fun, good crazy.
Thank you for listening to the Blue Keyboard Podcast. Please have a nice